Hi, I'm Amy Meisak. I'm a Miss Universe Great Britain 2021 finalist, and you're watching the Pageant and PJs podcast.
Good evening, good morning, everyone. It's Adrian from the Pageant Project. We are up to Pageants and PJs episode 82. I'm struggling to keep track. Danielle, what does that exasperated sound mean?
Too many. No, it's
You know, how long have we been doing this for?
That's
yeah,
crazy.
82. I think we've been doing this for about 2 years. But before we get too far whinging about how old we all feel, our special guest for today is Amy Meisak, who is a Miss Universe Great Britain 2021 finalist. Amy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Amy, how is all the prep going? Obviously, you are what we like to call a seasoned pageant veteran. This is by no means your first pageant. Give us an idea, give us an update. How's all the prep going?
Yeah, do you know, it's going really well. It's just strange because obviously with the pandemic and restrictions and lockdown, it kind of feels like a weird experience prepping for a pageant during a lockdown and restrictions and stuff. But now that things are starting to open back up, it's getting a wee bit better. But I've had a wee bit of dress stress, but it's all good. Like, I'm hoping that my dress arrives in time. Please. Putting the good vibes out there. And yeah, everything's going really well. Although I have to say, I've actually struggled with food allergies for a few years now, and it seems I've had a major flare up, and I'm taking an allergic reaction to every single thing that I eat. So it's causing my face to flare up and my stomach to bloat, which is never good in a pageant, especially during bikini round. So I'm hoping that all subsides, and I'm just bringing in that good energy, and I'm just hoping that everything calms down. The calm before the storm. So fingers crossed that that's okay. But apart from that, things seem to be going well.
Food allergies. What? And they've just come on recently?
No, do you know, for about 5 years, anytime I eat wheat or dairy, my face comes out in a rash, like just on my cheeks, which is really strange. And it seems to be if I avoid those foods, I'm okay. But now it's like anything. I can eat an apple and my face starts burning, and I can't sleep at night because my face is burning. So yeah, I've had emergency doctor's appointments and stuff, and like I'm getting a blood test on Thursday, and I was like, guys, I can't live like this. And the fact that the pageant is really coming up thick and fast, so it's going to be here in no time, and I'm really worried that it's not all settled for them because my skin is, you can't really see it because I put makeup on it tonight, but it really burns when I put anything on it, and it's just nasty. So
you've still got time. It's good that you're addressing it now so that it will be healed and cleared up and glowing, ready for the final. So you've still got some time.
I hope so. I'm just putting the positive vibes out there, and I'm hoping that it's all calmed down for then. So I'm drinking plenty of green tea because I've heard that's good health benefits. So I just like trying anything right now, to be honest.
Well, I think the main thing is you having the blood test, because if you have allergies, then you want to know exactly, obviously, what's going on. And my understanding is that if you, let's say, triggered the allergic reaction with wheat or dairy, then other foods may also trigger it, even though they wouldn't normally, just because your body is overly sensitive to it. But I remember Olivia had a very similar. She was in her prep for Galaxy, not, as you would well know, not eating carbs. And then afterwards, after she won Galaxy, she tried eating it again and she couldn't eat it anymore. So It sounds like the two of you are on a weirdly similar path.
Which is really strange because she's like technically loosely my sister-in-law because she's going out with my brother. And I'm like, we now have like the same. She keeps saying to me, because I wrote her a diet plan for Galaxy, she's like, you did this to me. It was you. It's your diet plan. But yeah, I'm hoping that everything subsides. She gets it really bad as well, though she gets it kind of upper arms and stuff. Tends to just be my face, which is strange. But yeah, not nice.
Erica
Well, I
agrees
guess-
with you.
Yeah,
Amen.
if you did it to Olivia, then you've done it to yourself. And then if you do have an extended family get together, at least you two can be drinking water in the corner together and commiserate.
Yeah, we'll be the two health freaks in the corner.
Oh my God. I can just imagine
Well,
you two having like allergic reactions left, right, and centre at Christmas dinner.
Oh my gosh, I know, and I'm like, I don't want to be that person at that pageant that's like, I'm really sorry, I can't have gluten, can't have dairy, sorry about
Soy
that.
free, dairy free, wheat free,
Yeah.
fun free.
Basically, just give me a glass of water and I'll be fine.
So have you worked out is there anything that is still safe at the moment, or is it just you're trying to figure this out?
No, literally,
Goodness.
like, I was trying to eat just like a plate of salads because I was like, well, it's vegetables. But apparently online, that's the worst thing you can eat because vegetables are high in histamine, which makes you itch. Who knew? So I can have a plate of salad and my face starts to burn up immediately. But I spoke to a doctor today and she was like, right, let's get you in for some blood tests. So I'm going in on Thursday. So it's bittersweet for me because she told me what she thinks it might be, but she's like, I don't want to scare you and I don't want to say anything too soon. So I'm trying not to read into it too much, but she was like, I don't think it's a food allergy. I think it's actually an autoimmune disease, which I'm like, what? So, and it's basically where your immune system starts attacking your healthy body, basically. It's really weird. It's like your immune system is always in attack mode, so you're inflamed all the time.
Yeah.
So she thinks that it might be that, but a part of me is like, I kind of hope it is because then I'll have an answer because it's been 5 years that I've had this, but it's really at its peak now. And
have you been taking like antihistamines, like anti-inflammatories?
Yeah. And I've been taking all these supplements like aloe vera and like turmeric,
yeah.
loads of stuff that doesn't taste nice, basically. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping that I hope they can diagnose what it is before I step on stage because I feel like I'm very into fitness, very much so. Like I love the gym, I'm really into nutrition, and I feel like I can't follow the plan that I wanted to for the pageant because this is all up in the air and it's dead stressful, and I'm like, I just need like something calm and cool before the storm. So I'm hoping that it all calms down, but hopefully with my appointment on Thursday, that'll maybe figure some things out. Fingers crossed.
I hope so. Fingers crossed for you. I was going to say, I didn't want to say this to alarm you, but it does actually sound like an autoimmune condition because foods that you could normally eat before, suddenly you can't eat anything, and it's because your body is just overly sensitive. There've been a few people, I'm not suggesting you do this, Amy, or anyone at home does this, but of all the things that I've heard of, there's this carnivore diet that's going around. There have been a few people who have not been able to eat anything. Like, as you said, salad you think is healthy, and they would have a reaction to that. And all they eat is red meat, and they swear by it. It's the exact opposite of both Danielle and what I used to do in terms of being vegetarian. But I do have a no. You would.
I would start.
I wouldn't recommend it either. I mean, just eating red meat, it doesn't sound like it would work, but they swear by it. It cured this girl's, she's probably about Amy's age, rheumatoid arthritis. She had juvenile onset and she had a hip replacement and a knee replacement before the age of 25. So it was a properly bad condition. And the only thing that worked for her was only eating meat. Literally,
was it for a long period of time or just a short?
Yeah, no, extended. Yeah, it's called the carnivore diet.
Because I was watching some YouTube videos last week because I resorted to like, I need to take this into my own hands. I just felt like there was nothing being done about it. I thought I need to research this. And as you do, sometimes I think it's dangerous to Google things because you're like, oh my God, that's it. Like, I'm not going to be here next week. But yeah, I kind of did that. And then I was like, right, let's research this. So I went on YouTube and they were saying that the best thing to try and ease the symptoms is to fast for 16 hours at a time, which I've been doing the last week, and it has eased symptoms. It's not totally at 0, but I'm maybe at like 2.5 now, where I was at like 8 out of 10 pain. And And they also said the carnivore diet. So at one point last week, all I was eating was just meat, and it was so difficult. It was so hard. But I had to say the itch in my skin started like subsiding a wee bit. But it's so crazy that you can change your diet and then like skin issues stop. It's really strange.
Well, the skin is where everything is excreted. Sounds horrible, from the body. So if your body is having a bad reaction, it will try and get rid of it through the skin. Unfortunately, then if you wear makeup as you have to in the pageant world, it can often stop the toxins from coming out. So the makeup can make it even worse. So look, I'm just hoping you get the answer soon so you know what to do, because I think the worst thing, especially in the lead up to a pageant, is not knowing kind of what's wrong, because then you don't know what to do. But the fasting that you're talking about, intermittent fasting, I've been doing that for a while, and coincidentally that's really good for a bit of fat loss as well, so that's always a good thing. But yeah, I wish you Godspeed in sorting that out, because that's a whole lot of headache that you don't need, because there tend to be enough headaches during the lead up to a pageant, as you would well know. Amy, just for those who aren't completely familiar with you, can you just give us a quick rundown on your pageant history? Because as I said, this is by no means your first pageant.
Yeah. So I'll need to think back because it's been a while. So I think I started pageants in about 2013. And the first pageant I entered was called Miss Earth, and that was all about the environment, and I was very much into the environment, so that's actually what encouraged me to enter Miss Earth, because I was very much an environmentalist and I loved all that stuff. So I thought that would be a good idea, so I entered that, and I came third place, and I couldn't believe I made it to the grand final, on that stage. I was like, I can't believe this. And so even just getting through the application for me was like a massive step. And so I came third place in that. And then the following week, there was actually a pageant that contacted me and said, we've had a girl pull out. Do you want, the last space in that? You don't need to pay a sponsorship or anything. You can just come down. And I thought, I don't know. It was like a 3 or 4 hour drive away. And my mum said to me, you've got the dress. Like, you're wanting you're doing it for confidence and you're doing it for experience, so just go. And I thought, I was doing this for experience, I'm just going to go. And so I did, and I won that one. That was called World Supermodel. And I didn't actually even have a clue what pageants were all about. So when I won, everyone was like, oh my God, you're going to Fiji, well done. And I'm like, what? I'm like, who goes to Fiji? They're like, yeah. Like, Fiji. They were like, yeah, you go to Fiji. And so that was like the world of pageants, is woo, this whole new world, where I was like, oh my gosh, okay, what's going on? And so I went to Fiji and I placed top 6 at the world finals, which was really cool. And it was so hot. My hair was like, because it's blonde. The humidity was like not okay with my hair. So that was good fun. And then when I came back, I really wanted to do Miss Earth again, because that was my first one and I just wanted to give it another go. So I went back and I won the Scotland title for that. And I went away to Austria for the international final, and I placed the top 16 at the internationals, which was so much fun.
Oh, wow.
And we got to tour Austria and parts of Germany, and I've made amazing friends. And then I came back and I did another pageant called Face of the Globe. And this was actually all leading up to, I really, really wanted to enter Miss Scotland at the time, and I just didn't feel I had the guts to do it yet. And I really wanted to build up some experience. So when I was looking for local pageants, it was really to gain experience, to make sure I felt ready enough for the big boys, for the big guns. So so this is all for experience for me. And I was so baffled when I won these ones, because you go in just thinking, oh, I'm never going to win this. And then your name's called and you're like, what? So I won Face of the Globe Scotland, and I got to go to Paris. Unfortunately, I was really unwell when I was in Paris, and I never actually got to compete that night. So
oh, wow.
I was just, I was really, really ill. And it had to be the weekend of that pageant, but however, but I still got to go to Paris, so it was cool. And then when I came back again, I entered Miss Scotland, And that was good fun, but I never placed in that. But I realised afterwards that it's important to pick the right system for you. Lots of pageants are very different. Their advocacies are different. They're judged differently. They've got different styles, and it's important to not just try and adjust yourself for that pageant. And I realised that from doing different systems, that I thought, right, this maybe wasn't me. And so it gave me experience though, and it made me realise that. So I thought I need to pick the right system for me. And then I was Miss Grand Scotland as well, and I went away to Vietnam, which was great. That was away for about a month, and I made the best friends ever. And that's where me and Chloe Davies from Ireland, we became really good friends. And I'd actually judged her in a pageant 2 years prior, and I remember judging her, and she came into the interview, and I remember thinking, that girl really reminds me of me. And so the rest is history. We got to go to Miss Grand 2 years later, and that friendship was just solidified. And then that's when I thought, right, it's time. Miss Universe, here we go. This is like the be all and end all. So I thought, I can't do a pageant career and not take a bash at Miss Universe. But it was just trying to get the confidence, because again, it's never a pageant I would have entered just on a whim. It was something that I'd always thought, and I'd always looked up to the girls that were in it. I always watched it every year, and it, sometimes I was sitting in the crowd. I would travel down to Wales to watch it, and I would just be in awe of the women that were on that stage. And it's so crazy that that woman is now me, and other girls might be sitting in the crowd thinking, I wish I had the guts to enter, and that was me at one point. So it's really exciting, and I feel like it's the right system for me, and I feel like it would be really good to go out with a bang, because I'm 28 now, so that's when you age out a lot of pageants. So it would be really good to, the cherry on top of the of the Sunday, the pageant Sunday. So so I'm hopeful. This is my third attempt at Miss Universe Great Britain, and it's my final attempt because I am 28. So
but whoa, you've placed both times. Let's not forget this. Let's not skirt over this, guys. Amy has made the top 5 the first year that she competed. That is a massive achievement. And then going back, she then came in the top 3. So, it's wild to think that you were trying to build up this confidence to get there. And when you got there, you absolutely nailed it.
I think I actually surprised myself. The first year I had mum and dad sitting in the crowd, and my dad, being my dad, obviously he's biased, and I think you're going to make the top 5, Amy. And I messaged back, I was like, there's no way. Because I was looking at all these other girls, I'm going, she is so beautiful. She's so well spoken. She looks lovely. But
they're thinking that about you.
I know.
And you made it.
You never think that about yourself. You always think that about other people, don't you? So it was like, it was very humbling.
We've talked about that before in terms of you never think it about yourself, and I think it's a big issue for you guys in the UK and Ireland and Australia. It's that whole, we call it tall poppy syndrome. It's like whenever anyone stands out or sticks out, we've got to cut you back down to size. And in Australia we've got this idea of mateship, which is a great thing, but I think that's the negative side of it, so to speak, is the idea that it's very difficult to stand out. Like, the joke in the UK is that if someone runs a trolley into you guys, you say sorry, because it's like, oh, sorry, I got in the way of the trolley. The Americans treat it differently. They seem to be more comfortable. I'm not going to say it's arrogant, because it's not that borderline between confidence and arrogance, but they seem much more comfortable saying, yes, I'm the best pick for the system, because, whereas it seems to be a struggle in the UK for you guys to say, yes, I'm the best person for this job, because it's almost the hardest question to answer.
It really is. See, when people say, why you? Of all these girls, why you? I always think that's the hardest question, because I don't know. Yeah, it must be a UK thing, because I think we're very humble, that we don't want to, say, well, I'm better than everybody else and I think I'd be better, because I genuinely look at the other girls and I know that any of them equally could do an amazing job. Everybody individually is amazing in their own way. So I definitely wouldn't want to be one of the judges because it's so difficult to pick because everybody's amazing in their own way. We're all so different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer, but it's probably one of the most important because it's also one of the most predictable. I think it's almost a given that you'll be asked some version of that question during interview. When is the actual pageant, guys? How long is it?
Is it the 16th of October?
October the 16th. So it's a Saturday. So it's actually not that long away. I think it's about 6 weeks-ish.
Yeah, not long.
Yeah.
5 weeks. It's creeping up. It's really creeping up now. At one point, I was like, 10 weeks away. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, it's happening. It's coming.
In a flash.
Well, I mean, you competed last year, and last year was very unusual in terms of waiting. I mean, how long? I don't even want to think about it, but like Gabriella Dukes is going to hand over her Miss Wales title soon. And I think I remember reading on the post, like she's been Miss Wales for 2.5 years. And she's aged 3 years since she's had the title because of the way it's worked. So it's been a very, very weird time. And I think coming up to, 6 weeks, it's like, oh, wow, yeah. And then doing it in person, it's going to take some getting used to.
Jeanette will have a very short reign as well when she she was crowned. When was it? Was it April?
March, I think.
March, April, yeah. March, and then hands over in the October.
It's only 7 months.
A short but sweet
6,
reign.
7 months. Well, I guess it's not how long the reign is; it's what you do with it. Speaking of long reigns, Danielle, who will be Miss Galaxy UK for the rest of her life. What have you been up? What have you been up to this week? Catch us up.
Oh gosh, this week. You know what? There's been a lot going on in my life in terms of like my business is really doing well. Like I'm kind of inundated with clients at the moment. I'm now having to slow down so much with the clients because I don't have a life. So I've had a few clients this weekend, but I also found it was really important for me this kind of weekend to really chill because I'm here, there and everywhere, driving up and down the countries to appearances. I really wanted to go to Grand because obviously, we're Grand sisters, aren't we, Amy? So we kind of, we want to support the former system that we were in, but I really had to take this weekend to make time for me and to relax and do some fun things. I think that's so important as a message to get out to pageant girls because now that everything's happening every week. There's something every week. And I think the pressure of having to be an active queen or an active contestant can sometimes get on you a little bit too much. You have to remember to take a weekend for yourself, spend it with your family and your loved ones. So that's what I got up to this weekend. Although I did still have a client on Sunday, but that was fine. That was early in the morning and Jordan was still in bed, so it was fun. But yeah, we moved office this week for my work. So having to sell a pool table has been one of the highlights of my week. Still hasn't gone. What? It's an old vintage pub pool table with overhanging lights. So old, the mechanism inside of it's broke, and my bosses want I think £250 for it, and for them to come pick it up, and it's just been a bit of a struggle to shift that one.
Is this a cheap plug, Danielle?
Yeah, so if
gonna say anyone watching wants a pool table, 250.
It's yours. It's yours. As long as you come pick it up and you've got a lorry.
Bring your own truck.
A man with a van, come pick it up. It's yours. Take it. I think we'll probably even accept £200 at this point. It needs to go because we need to hand the keys back to the office at the end of the week. So it's gotta go. What else have I been up to? I had a client before I jumped on here, so yeah, just been styling. I feel like I'm constantly looking at clothes, constantly shopping for people, but you know what, I feel like it's definitely my purpose in life, and I love it, I enjoy it, and yeah, just that's pretty much me, just kind of chilling this weekend and looking at pretty dresses online and shifting a pool table.
I don't understand. How do you get any work done when do you have one of these fancy offices like a Google or something where the lobby is pool tables, air hockey, table tennis, there's a Kool-Aid dispenser there. This is what it sounds like.
No, no. Well, you know I'm bougie, but this is an industrial estate, guys. Like, not my former places that I used to work at were kind of nice, kind of like this is still
Yeah.
nice. Like, it's just a different vibe. It's a little bit more down to earth. The place that I work at the moment, where we've moved back into the old offices, and we've got. It sounds really fancy saying the penthouse. We call it the penthouse, but it's basically the top layer of the offices that we've got all to ourselves. We're all cramped into one room at the moment, but we've got some fancy new offices that we're going to be moving into. They're not quite ready yet. That's why we had to go back to the old office for a bit. But we had to get out of the office that's around the corner from me. So there's a lot of office moves going on, and there's a lot of like my car is basically filled with files. It's an archive on wheels currently because the people that left files. I work for an accountant, so as you can imagine, we do a lot of paperwork. So I have probably about 30 companies' files sitting in my car, and I've only got a Fiat 500, guys. So yeah, that's quite fun. But we're kind of like moving things around, so there's not a lot of storage space in the office that we're in currently. So I'm an archive on wheels at the moment, being post and pat, delivering all the files.
You're like a library. You're like a roving library.
Yeah.
I mean, with the business, your business taking off. I mean, it's been taking off for a while, which is amazing. But I mean, you dug your own grave there a bit because you're literally the pageant stylist. And anytime I have a coaching client, like people will ask for help with walk or with this, and be like, "Oh, you could go here, you could go there." But if any time anyone needs any help with their wardrobe, the only person I can recommend is you. So it's your fault. If you weren't so good at your job.
Niche.
Yeah.
I literally have made my own niche, and I love it because I really want to bring out different elements of people, and that's the most rewarding thing, is pushing people outside their comfort zone. I had a client the other day, and she's doing a photo shoot, and I suggested something that's kind of revolutionary in the pageant world. It's not been done, and these are the moments that I live for. Because she's like, "Oh my God, that's such a good idea, and why has no one ever done that?" No one's ever, like, I can't wait until it's like on Charlotte Clemmy's like page, because obviously Charlotte Clemmy posts all of her pictures, and when it's something that's a little bit different, you know that Charlotte's posting it. So she was really excited about that. She's like, "Oh my God, am I going to be on Charlotte's Instagram?" I was like, "You probably will be, I'm not gonna lie." So it's just really exciting because I have like a little insider knowledge. I know what people are wearing. I know what people are going to do in their photo shoots. So I feel so fortunate that I'm kind of like in on everyone's little secret. And as you know, confidentiality is key with me. So yeah, it's just really exciting. I love it. I do, however, need to work on other aspects of the business. I love doing the actual job, but in terms of like marketing, I've had a little chat with a good friend of mine who's a social media strategist, and she is helping me with my Instagram and giving me a lot of advice on my website, which still needs building, which Jordan will be working on soon. But it's difficult because when your other half is making your website for you, I'd rather just pay someone to do it, but he refuses to let me do it.
I say don't work with family. That's just my take on it, because you can't push them. That's the thing. If they don't do a job, then they go, "Well, I'm doing it for free. You're so ungrateful." It's like, but I need it done. So just take the money, Danielle, pay someone else to do it. It is just so much easier. That's my point of view.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
So it is, I'm learning how to deal with my own little business, and I've got so many plans and so many development ideas. There's only so many hours in the day, guys. I've got a full-time job. So it's getting there. I enjoy it. I love it. It's my purpose.
Amy, just weird question, but do you play pool? Are you any good at pool? Since we're talking about pool tables.
That is a weird question, because actually my dad has a pool table in his house.
So she's good.
From the age of 11, like you can imagine the summer holidays, 7 weeks off school, me and my best friend Amy at the time, the two Amy's, we were Amy squared. That's what we used to call ourselves. We were so good at pool, and I say were because I've not played it in a while, but I do love to see a pool table. Like if you're at an old man's pub or something, and you see it. I'm like, do you know what? I'm gonna dust this off and just see if I'm any good. But yeah, I think I'm a bit rusty now. But I used to be the reigning champ. I was really good at one point.
Are you looking for a pool table then? Seems like Danielle's trying to hock one.
I mean, you'd have to get your own van. I'm not gonna lie, and I live quite a way away. I don't know, Cardiff Airport. We'll see if we can cargo it in.
Definitely wouldn't fit in the Fiat 500, would it?
No, not in with all those files, that's for sure.
Can you fit it on top of the Fiat 500, or will that
strap
crush
it.
it? I think it
Just
might.
hope we don't get any high winds. I'll take off.
It'd be like a sailboat taking off. I feel it's like a grand piano on top of the Fiat 500. Yeah, it's not a good look.
Yeah, going for a tunnel.
Well, that's what Danielle's been up to. Amy mentioned Chloe. I have no idea where Chloe is.
Chloe,
We know that she's in Spain. I didn't know that until this morning at about 3 a.m. when I got her voice message.
She is living it up on a cruise right now. She actually on Friday night was like, the cruise life is calling me, Amy. And I was like, I know, me too. Because we went on a cruise 2 years ago from Miami round the Caribbean, which was epic. And ever since we did that, we've been like, the cruise life, the cruise life. And she just is the most spontaneous person I've ever met in my life. She's so adventurous. And that's why I love having her as a friend, because if she says, do you want to go to the USA? And you say yes, like you will be going. I've got other friends that are like, oh, do you know, I can't get the time off work, or like we're saving for a house. And Chloe is that yes friend where she just says yes to everything. So Friday night, she's like, you want to go a cruise on Sunday? I'm like, do you know, I think I've got some things planned, and I've got Miss Universe coming up.
I love that.
So,
2 days notice. Do you want to go on a cruise on Sunday?
She honestly, and then when I phoned her on Sunday and she was like, yeah, I'm just on my way to get a flight. I was like, are you actually going? She went, did you think I was joking? I'm like, no, but oh my God, she's one of a kind.
She is very, very spontaneous. I told her, because the other week she said she was catching up with you, and I told her, whatever you do, stay off of Amy's Snapchat, because apparently she's quite infamous for her appearances. Yeah. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but you sent me some videos for her roast video. And to this day, I still don't understand the one of her sitting on the toilet and just this. And she said she was explaining it's what Scotland are brave, and I'm like, I get that, but why are you sitting on the toilet?
Yeah, honestly, like I had friends in work that used to be like, that Chloe girl from your Snapchat. She's like Snapchat famous now. She's hilarious.
This is why she said, I can't do pageants anymore because, I've appeared on Amy's Snapchat and everyone knows me as that girl on Amy's Snapchat. So I can only imagine. Oh, what was the story behind the one when she stepped on the pizza? And then she stayed there and with her foot in the pizza to let you film her. What happened there?
That was the same night as her sitting on the toilet, like to bagpipes playing. She loves Scottish music, like bagpipes. Do you know what's strange? I'm Scottish and I don't mind bagpipes, but Chloe loves bagpipes. So anytime I'm with her, she's like got the total Scottish music on, and so it's actually like hilarious being with her. But that night we had been out in Belfast. I'd never been to Belfast, and we were like, we'll have a wee weekend there. And we ordered these pizzas. I think we ordered like 3 pizzas between the two of us. What were we thinking? I don't know. But chicken wings and all that. So we started eating it before we went on the night out while we're doing our makeup and stuff. And then you know how you get that carb crash where you just end up being like,
you fall asleep really and become comatose.
That feeling. We had that right before we went out, to the point that 2 of us were lying on the bed with our eyes half shut. And we're like, we just leave the night out tonight. It was like 11:30 at this point.
And you just got ready.
Yeah, and I had flown to Belfast to see her. And the 2 of us were like, I'm so tired. Well, we'll just leave it. And then I can't remember who it was. It was one of us that was like, not right, come on, let's just go. We'll go out for an hour. We'll just go. We're in Belfast. So we went out for an hour. or 2, and it turned into like 5 hours being out. We got home at like 5:30 in the morning, and as we got home, I don't even know why I was recording her. I just was recording her going up to put the light out as like a good night Snapchat. Like, that's the light out, we're away to bed. And like, she went to turn the light out, but then as she ran back into the bed with her pajamas on and no shoes, she had left the pizza open because we had cold pizza when we got home. So she put her bare foot, splunged straight in the pizza. She had like pepperoni between her toes and everything. And she just stayed there. She was like, ah! And I thought, out of everyone, I'd be like jumping back, but she just stayed there with her foot in the pizza. And so
She's probably like the feeling
moment.
of it.
Yeah, that's
She's weird like that.
It's hilarious. She's so funny. It's just a lot. I literally, any weekend I have with Chloe, I come back with a sore belly and sore cheeks from laughing because she just makes me laugh so much.
Have you ever, because she's told us some very weird, like, she likes the dentist. She likes going to the dentist. She likes the injection, the one that numbs your face and then you draw afterwards. She likes that. She finds the sound of airplane engines soothing. It puts her to sleep. Do you know, as one of her longest standing friends, where does she get all these weird tastes from?
I don't know, but I do know that one of the strangest things is that when she was at high school for breakfast, she used to have a jar of jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
For
breakfast.
For breakfast.
Yeah.
And when we went to Vegas, there was always like a big dilemma in the morning because Chloe wanted to eat dinner spicy food for her breakfast, and we all wanted like pancakes and a cup of tea. She wanted like spicy. She was always up having like, it just looked like a dinner plate. It was like chicken and spicy rice, and like, she loves sweet corn. She had a sweet corn eating contest at her 21st, and to the point that it was a guy from her school, and the two of them had this jumbo like tin of corn, and she was eating it so fast that she laughed and sweet corn came out her nose. She's one of a kind, that girl, isn't she?
She is. Absolute Fruit Loop.
She is.
They don't build them like her, do they? Okay, well, wherever she is, she's probably out of reception, because reception on cruises is not the best thing. Did you meet Chloe at Grand, Amy?
No, I actually judged her when she entered Miss Earth Ireland, and I was Miss Earth Scotland at the time. So I was one of the judges. I flew over to Ireland, and it was my friend Justine that was helping run that at the time. And and I saw, the very first time I saw her, I went out to check the stage out because I'd just arrived from Glasgow. And I was like, wow, the stage is looking lovely, the lights and everything. And I just saw this blonde, really pretty looking girl standing there at the side. And she was like, hi. And I was like, oh, hi. And I didn't know she was one of the contestants. And she was just talking about how beautiful the stage was and stuff. And she was so lovely. And when I walked away, I thought, she's so nice. And then it wasn't until later that I realised she was one of the contestants. And when she came into the interview, it was in the interview that I was just absolutely sold by her. And I was like, I need to be friends with this girl. Like, she is so funny. I asked her in the interview, I remember asking her, I actually remember everything she was wearing at the time as well. She had this like lemon blazer on, but it had no sleeves. It was like a cape blazer thing. And she just looked amazing, and she came in, and I had said to her, if you could pick anybody to go to dinner with, who would it be, alive or dead? And she said David Tennant, because she had an obsession with David Tennant from Doctor Who. And I just thought,
that's a Chloe answer.
Girls, yeah, like people would say like maybe, I don't know,
Michelle
Brad
Obama.
Pitt.
Yeah,
or like, or Zac Efron, popular choice, or the Obamas, and she's like, do you know who I would love to go to dinner with? It's David Tennant. I just thought that was so random. I was like, this girl is like full of life. I just love her.
And you're like, bonus points, he's Scottish.
Yeah, exactly. And she said to me recently that she was worried that I was going to mark her down because maybe she would think that I was thinking she'd picked a Scottish person so she'd get extra points. But honestly, I was just thinking that was a really bizarre answer. But I love that girl because she's one of a kind, like I said.
Chloe, wherever you are, we hope it's going well. Amy, I have to ask on the subject of Irish, Scottish, have you ever struggled with people understanding your accent? It's been a while, I think, since we had a Scot on. But do people struggle to understand you when you're at these international pageants?
All the time. All the time. Like, the chaperones can't understand me. Usually my roommate can, like, but it takes a few days for them to get used to the accent. And I was really good friends with Miss Grand New Zealand, and it was the first
Megan.
Yeah, the first 2 or 3 days there was times that she'd be like, "What is it? Sorry, what?" And then see after that we were so used to each other's accents that you never had to say, "What? What did you say? I didn't catch that." But there was one person that shared a room with Chloe, and she had said to the other girls, like, "Oh, you know, Northern Ireland's really nice. It's just a shame she doesn't speak English." She was like,
I was actually going to bring that up. I remember that story because Chloe's told it's hilarious that they actually think she's not speaking English.
Yeah, and there was one time that me and Chloe were sitting across from each other at dinner in Vietnam, and we were chatting away, and Argentina turned round to someone and went, "Are they speaking in English?" And then we both laughed and we were like, "Yeah." And she was like, "I speak good English and I can't understand anything they say." And I would say, like, I'm actually quite clear speaking for someone Scottish. They usually speak really quick and like slang and stuff. So
you're not a Brian. With Brian, I have to really like listen.
Well, I was going to ask, like, Amy, can you understand Brian? Because he's the one person that when he spoke to me when I was at UK Galaxy, I thought I'd had a stroke or an aneurysm because I knew he was speaking English, but I swear I did not understand to this day a single word he said. I worked out he wanted to take a photo of me because he was pointing and gesticulating, but can you understand him?
Yeah, but you know, there are some times that Brian says things that I don't catch, and I think it's because he speaks so quickly.
Yeah.
He only lives like 15 minutes away from me, so we're actually from the same area, but he just speaks so much quickly. He just speaks so much quicker than me. So it's a lot of people struggle to understand like a broad Scottish accent. I always struggle with it. When I go away, people always think, "Oh, are you Irish?" When me and Chloe are together, everyone gets confused because at one minute they think you're Irish and the next minute they think you're Scottish, and it's because it's a Scot and an Irish.
I think after all the exposure I've had to your guys' accents, I think I can now safely pick between a Scottish and an Irish accent. You do speak very clearly, though, so I'm surprised, and obviously you've worked on radio, you need to speak clearly. I'm surprised people sometimes can't hear you. Like Olivia, sometimes when she gets, you know what Olivia's like, when she gets really excited.
Olivia goes off on one.
Yeah, and then she says some of the more. She seems to say more of the Scottish slang than you do. Yeah, like I canny. Like, I've never actually. I always thought that was like a stereotype, but she actually says that. So sometimes I struggle to understand her. Yeah, when she speaks really quickly. But I still think it's hilarious that people think you're not speaking English. Ralph here has said, "Good afternoon, everyone."
Hi,
well,
Ralph.
we don't want to keep Amy on too long for tonight. So just before we wrap up, Amy, do you have any exciting plans coming up in the lead up to Universe?
So I've actually got a fundraiser planned. So I'm hoping with the way restrictions are going that it'll allow me to actually do that. So I'm on the hunt for some raffle prizes just now. And my mum, she's a hairdresser, and a lot of her clients have been so good, and they've been handing in bottles of whiskey and candles and just nice raffle prizes. So we're going to have a bit of a party at my mum's house, and she actually has a professional karaoke machine. So that's going to come out the cupboard. We've got disco lights as well, professional ones. So we literally just push my mum and dad's couch right to all the walls.
What sort of house are you living in that you have a professional karaoke machine and professional disco lights?
And a pool table.
And a pool table. My family are just as mad as Chloe. That's why we get on so well. They love a party. They love a party.
gonna
So
feel like a disco / pub with the
oh,
old karaoke
absolutely.
and the pool table.
That's the vibe we're going for. So we're going to have a buffet, and my mum's friend actually runs a whiskey factory, and they've donated this lovely, I don't know what you would call it. It's like a whiskey ornament. So it's a glass figure of somebody playing golf. And it's worth like £100, and it's really fancy whiskey in it. And we're going to have a wee game where you have to slide the pound coin, the nearest coin, the bottle. So we have that on the
Yeah.
kitchen floor, and everybody has to stand and that, donate £1 or £2, and they get to slide the coin. So whoever gets closest to that. But it's actually quite stressful organising an event like a fundraiser. So that's kept me really busy. So I'm still organising that, but I'm getting nice cakes and stuff made, and just loads of plans for that. So I'm hoping that goes smoothly. But I'm excited because it should actually help to raise quite a lot of funds for a sisterhood, which is the chosen charity for Miss Universe, and that supports women globally. Domestic violence, fleeing from that, or acid attacks, and it generally supports women internationally. So so it's a really good cause, and I'm also asking for people to donate old kind of lightly worn bras, and they send them away to third world countries, and that is for women who maybe don't have underwear. And actually, it's a horrible subject, but rape is much higher in those countries because women don't have bras and things to wear. And it tends to be like sexual assault and stuff's actually higher in those countries. So it's a good deed if people are wanting to have a clear out, and it's going to someone that doesn't have it. So people that are coming to the fundraiser are also bringing like old or lightly worn bras. So it's raising for two causes actually. So that's at the start of October. So I'm excited for that. So that keeps me busy.
Do you know if because I know a few years back, Miss Universe Great Britain, if you raised over a certain amount, there was a trip to India. I don't know if is that still happening?
Do you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's happening this year, but I
Because of
think it's
COVID.
usually if you raise over £2,500, you get to go to India, and it's basically a community there where they've got a cafe that women who have been attacked by acid work in those communities. And in a lot of countries, if you are deformed in any sort of way, they outcast you and you're not part of the community anymore. So that helps to introduce women back into work and stuff like that. So it's actually a really lovely cause, and it helps a lot of women. So I would love to go to India, but fundraising is really difficult just now because people have lost their jobs. I was one of them. I lost my radio job. So I've had to become self-employed, which has all worked out for me, but a lot of people are losing their jobs and they don't have as much cash flow as maybe they did. So I think fundraising, it's a difficult year for fundraising. So I'm just hoping that I can raise something.
But if anyone is watching, where can they donate so they can send you to India? So they can drop you £1,000. If they want to send you £1,000 right now, where are they sending it?
A message on Instagram. I'm going to try post a wee link because I think you can do fundraiser links now, can't you? I saw that the other day. So I'll maybe put up a wee fundraiser link if anybody could kindly donate. I would really appreciate it.
So I'll bring up Amy's Instagram. So here it is, Amy Meisak. And if she puts up the link, then at least on Instagram, it'll normally pop up here like a GoFundMe link or something like that.
I'll do that.
Go give her a follow. And
so
then,
if anyone's actually done really well during lockdown, because there are some businesses that actually really thrive. If you were selling hand sanitizer at the time of the, you're rubbing your hands in more ways than one. Face masks. If you've got a bit of spare dosh, send it over to Amy's page.
Oh, I would really appreciate that. And it's all for good cause as well.
We should hit up Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon. I mean, he flew into space, so he's got some cash to splurge. Danielle, before we hang up for tonight, what exciting plans do you have for the next week or so?
So next week is Miss Wales. So there is the ball on the Friday, and then the final show on the Saturday. So I will be there. which is very exciting. There's an announcement to make, which I don't know if we're making it yet. Well, I don't know. Paula's got an announcement to make in terms of Miss Wales, I believe. So hopefully that will come out this week. But I'll be at Miss Wales. So if anyone's attending, come say hi. What else? This week I'll be selling the pool table and getting rid of the archive that is in my car. And that's my week.
Danielle, go ask your bosses if you can sell it and then give the money to Amy's fundraiser. Do that. That's how we can raise money for Amy, by selling that damn pool table.
Sell the old broken pool table.
Exactly. And then the money can go towards a good cause. I think that'll work very, very well. Okay. Well, let's leave it there. Amy, best of luck. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you to Danielle for her time as well. And we will speak to you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Just a reminder to you entrepreneurial types to come and join us at our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/The Pageant Boss. I'll see you inside and see you in the next episode.